everyone, it's Melody Lane. I made this project and I gave it to the people who support me on Patreon. Everyone wants to know how to make this with their own words. How did I do this? Some people have recreated the books, but I have mine so they follow the curve of each letter. And these are, let's ungroup it so I can move these out to show you. That's grouped. See how they follow the curve of the letter. I've waited to show you how to do this for the new Design Space update because there's lots of things that they made it easier for you to do. This is the old Design Space. This is what you're used to. And here's the new one. It looks the same, doesn't it? Well, let me show you over here. There is a new Cricut machine, and I did a whole video on that machine. If you missed that, I put the link to that video in the description below of this video. These are free for the Cricut Explorer 1. Yes, here it is, the Cricut Explorer 1. So these are all free if you own that machine. Every time Cricut comes out with a new machine, it comes with free images. Some of these images are already free if you have the subscription or if you own some. Like this bag. I already subscribed to this, so it's free for me. In the Make It Now projects, they give you the description, the materials you need, and the instructions. And then you can just click Make It Now and get your materials set up, and it'll cut. Or you can customize it and change it if you want. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to do the love project. So we're going to start from scratch. We're going to click here and look. Does that look a little different? There's also something new over here called a line. And we'll be using that later on in the project. But look, insert shapes. If you've watched my videos, you know I use the score line so much. So it's right here. I don't have to go to insert images and search for score. It's just right here, along with these free shapes that are free for anyone to use. So let's go ahead and get started on our project. I'm going to use the square. I'm going to make it into a rectangle. I want it to be 2 inches in height. So we're going to make it 2 inches. To keep it from staying a square, you unlock this right here or right here. And notice these handles are away from the image. So if I zoom in, I can still work with that image. Let's go back to 100% for now. Okay, now we're going to go back to the layers panel. I think I want this, let's go back 1.7 for my first one. You can make this any size you want. My project's actually going to be bigger than 2 inches. I just want to work with that for now. And I also want to duplicate this, so we're going to go down here and duplicate it a few times. Get those out of my way. Okay, now we're going to insert text because we're doing the love album. We got to have words, or at least one. And I'm going to go to Cricut fonts. I'm going to go to festive, folk art. That's it. This is the one I really like for this. You can choose different font. But I'm going to show you how to do it with the folk art. Let's turn on the grid. You do that by clicking this box right here. And I'm going to turn on that layer. I'm going to turn this one off for now. You can still always use that later. Okay, and I'm going to, let's get this about 2 inches. It's 204. There, got 2 inches. I'm going to isolate the letters. So what that means is I can use one at a time and move them. But I need more than just one word. So I'm just going to move this right down here to get them out of the way and duplicate it 3 times. Just by clicking duplicate 3 times. I'm going to bring one up here to the top. Okay, now let's just get started. Let's take this L over here. Let's measure this L. It's not quite 2 inches. You have to do each letter at a time separately and measure them. And let's zoom in. Okay, and on this one, we're just going to click this to select it. And you can click the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on a PC and click this to select it. And you can see in the Layers panel, they're both selected. We have the L selected, and we have a square selected. If you have trouble with that, you can also just drag this box around it to select them both. And you can see the square selected, and the L is selected. And we're going to weld this one. This one's easy. We only need to weld. Some of them we will need to slice. Okay, now let's go back. We need to bring in another L. Get rid of the shadow. We can, on the one I just used this. First, we have to keep it the shadow, because that's what we used before. We have to make it 2 inches. So it's exactly the same as this one. And let's bring it to the top, to the front. So as you can see, it fits right on top of that one. But we want it to be more of a layered look. We don't want it to fit exactly. So select that and find it over here. Oh, it's the top one because I moved it to the front. And we're going to hide that and we're going to use this one. So there you see it fits exactly. So now we're going to use another one. And I want these lined up to the left. So we're just going to click Align Left. And it moved this. But we don't really need that right now. I can move that out of the way. And I can see, whoops. Okay, unlock it because I want it wider. Because I want the O to like fit under it about just like that. So I want this to be a little longer. Okay, let's zoom in a little just so we can make sure we get this right. Let's change this to 2 inches. Make sure this is 2 inches. Not 201. There. Try to get it so it's smooth on the top and smooth on the bottom. We're not going to weld this. We're going to slice this one because I don't want this in the middle. I want that to be open. So we're going to slice. And we're going to move this out of the way. This will not move. So we have to slice that out. That's why we have so many squares. We got to get rid of that. So I'm just going to place a square over it and select that and click Slice. And there we go. Put a box around all this. It's garbage. Now I'm going to take an O. I'm going to change the color of this so I can see it better. Where's it at? There's the O. It's right on top. There. And we're going to weld this. I don't like that little mark there. Let's unweld. Make sure this is, no, see? Wasn't 2 inches. I forgot. I didn't measure this one. I measured the one before it. There we go. That looks right. Let's select it and weld. That's better. And let's take this. We have to measure this one also. And then find this one in the Layers panel. And we're not going to be using this, we're going to be using this. Could also use this too. Arrange it and bring it to the front. There we go. Let's bring this one to the front. And that one will fit there. And this to bring to the front. I'm going to take this letter, hide that just so they're all the same. And I'll show you how to change the colors to get them like I did in this book. They're kind of ombre. Okay, let's unlock this one and bring it over here. This to be 2 inches. I'll do it in the edit panel. And our next letter is V. Whoops. I think I want it out to here. Let's make sure that's 2 inches. And this needs to be brought out probably right there. And this needs to be 2 inches in height. Okay. Now we're going to be slicing this one. And we can't get rid of these. Let's duplicate this down here. We need a few more because we need to slice. Grab these 2 images and slice. There we go. And there, we got rid of that. Let's get rid of this out of our way. Now we're going to grab another V. We have to make sure this V is 2 inches. When you're doing this, you don't have to have them 2 inches. I'm just making them 2 inches so they're all the same. And then I can drag them all bigger at the same time if I like. So I'm fitting that in where it was sliced. And you may ask, well, why are you doing that when you could have just welded it instead of slicing and welding? Well, if I would have just welded it, this would be straight across right here. I didn't want this there, and I wanted it shaped like the top of the letter. So Let's select it and layers panel and weld. Ooh, and it did not completely weld. See that? So we have to undo. It makes it easier if you change the color of this. Scoot it over just a little. Now it will weld. There we go. And then this one, we have to make 2 inches. And change it to that. Bring it to the front. And there we have it. And we're not done yet with these. I'm going to put some holes in them. And the holes have to be completely lined up. So put a box around it. Just move that up. Get it out of the way. I'm going to unlock this one, drag it over. This is going to have the E. Okay, so it's 2 inches. And make that 2 inches. So that's where we want the E, about right there. I want this on top so I can see it better. And we'll zoom in. That looks like that might work, where we can just weld it instead of slice it. Let's make sure this one is 2 inches. Okay, let's move this one to the back. Move that to the back, but then move it forward one. Actually, let's get rid of these letters so they're not in our way when I align things. I'm just going to grab all these and we're going to click Align and we're going to align left. Okay, they're all even to the left, but we need them on top of each other. So we're going to center vertically. Okay, so now we're going to align left. And we need some different ones on top. This one needs to be on top. So I'm selecting that, click Arrange, move to the front. And we need the O. Okay, move to the front. Then move backward. There we go. So let's make sure these are all lined up. Center horizontally and align left. So that way they all are where I want them to be. Let's move them out here. Okay, we're going to insert a shape, the heart. Just because this is love, you can use circles if you want, or you can just use a punch and punch them, but I like to have the Explorer do all my work for me. I am going to make little holes. See, in the old design space, you would not even be able to see these. These handles would be on it too much. And the handles go away when you move it around. Isn't that cool? Okay, I'm also going to change the color of that. Like I said, we're still not done with showing you how to change the colors on these. But let's get everything cut first, the way we want it. Still think that's a little big. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate that in the Layers panel. I'm in the layers panel. I don't have it selected. Make sure you have it selected. And look how it puts a cross across there, so you know exactly where the center is. Duplicate. Okay. So now, you know what? I need to align these. So I want these to be, I want them a little further apart. Like that. Just going to put a box around it. And we're going to center horizontally. So that way they're perfectly in line. And we're going to place them here. I'm just going to select one at a time. Select the L and slice. There. Now we're not going to move that. We're going to find the other heart. We're going to select that, bring it to the front, and I'm hitting down the Command key and selecting the L, and we're going to slice. Now the L has the two holes in it to put ribbon through, so you can make this a book. The problem is we need those holes exactly in the same spot in the other pages. So I'm moving the L out of the way. And look what's left. These little hearts are exactly in the right spot for the next one. So I'm going to click one, select the O, and slice. We're going to find the other heart, bring it to the front, select the O, and slice. There we go. And look, we can line them up if we want just by looking at the hearts. Okay, so let's just do it all over again. Okay, these hearts are no longer needed. You know what? I am just going to hide them, because if I wanted to do another book like this, I could just kind of use those hearts again or use this. When they're hidden, they won't cut. So let's back up a little bit. Okay, we don't need any of these. Get rid of them. We don't need these. And we're almost done with our project. This one goes to the back. Move to back. This goes there. If we want to make it like this, say like an ombre color, I'm going to move this down just a little bit. Then I'm going to make my E just a little bit lighter than I have this one. Okay. So to get it to the same color, I'm going to click on here, move that down just a little bit, and move this over so it's a little bit lighter. I want it a little bit more pink. So I'm sliding the scale right here to get it a little bit more down into the pink. So next is this one, and we can line these up by just looking at the hearts there, or we can use our align tool when we have all these selected. Okay, so now I want this V just a little bit lighter than the E. So we're going to click here. I'm going to start here, move that down a little, and then move this over this way until it's just a little bit lighter. Now remember, if you're just cutting this out of paper, you just have to find the paper that you want. Let's move this to the top. And I want this one a little bit lighter. Just a little bit. So this has to be a little lighter than the V. I need this to actually be a little lighter, and then this one to be even more lighter. There, something like that. You use your own judgment what you want to do, and to line these books up. Whoops. I'm going to select all these, and I'm going to align them. I'm going to align them horizontally so they're all even, and then I'm going to align them left so they're all perfect, and then just place these where I like them. Now you got a book. Say I want the book bigger. I don't want it only 2 inches. That's not very big. Actually, I'm going to change the color. Not the V. I want the E different. This one should be a little bit lighter. And the E should be a little darker. There. Okay, I'm going to group these together. So now I move one, they all move. And I'm just going to drag it bigger. You can only have it up to 11.5 inches wide, unless you have a bigger mat. Just going to have it about like that. And save. Make sure you save it. I'm just going to call this Love Album 2. I've showed you all the new things that are in the desktop version of Design Space. It just makes life a little easier. Thanks, Cricut. Here's my project all finished. If you want to see the video of me putting it together and embossing and embellishing it, I'll put the link in the description below on YouTube. And if you want to see more of my videos, subscribe. It's easy and free. And here's a shout out to a few of the people who support me on patreon.com/MelodyLane. I really appreciate everyone for watching. Lena Knutson, Michelle Mills, Lasagna Jackson, Tiffany Garrison, Rebecca Romines, Gina Messer, Sharon Pugula, Renisa, Debbie Dickerson, Christy Myers, Jean Williams Pettit, Tracy Masso, Kathleen Kelly Tilley, Peggy Herrera, Stacy Perkins, Jerry Dentel, Jenny Rodriguez, and Carla Boardman. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.